Warning. This show may contain blunders, tangents, and inaccuracies. We try, but words are hard. Spoilers are inevitable. You've been warned. Lastly, the following is the opinion of two middle-aged media junkies. Try not to get butthurt if we say something you don't like. Viewer discretion is advised.
Spinning rack.
Hey everybody, welcome to SequelCentric. We take a look at follow-ups in the media to see how they stack up against their predecessor. I am Nate, and he is the Steve to my Diana. Duff.
What's up, Nate?
Not much. How's it going, Duff?
Fair to Midland, I'd have to say. I don't know, there's just too much stuff going on in the current climate, and I want none of it. So I like to watch movies instead, or TV shows. I've been binging a little Ghost Adventures with my wife here lately. So that's what's getting me for TV. Not to mention that I have totally caught up on The Mandalorian. Cannot wait to do an episode on that one.
Nice.
But what's got our attention this week, Nate?
Oh, I would say Wonder Woman 1984. It seems to be a topic of conversation the last couple of weeks.
It has. Warner Brothers pulled a really interesting strategy here in the current climate of the pandemic, and they did a simultaneous release, not only in theaters where available, but also HBO Max.
Well, shit, Diana.
Yeah, I think that's a bold move, which also makes a whole bunch of the other studios like Disney, NBC, to come up with a new strategy as well.
Well, NBC's got Peacock that they're rolling out. Disney, of course, has Disney Plus, and they're doing the exact same thing. They did an exclusive release with Mulan. They did an exclusive release with
Hamilton.
And they just keep doing these exclusive releases that make it so worth buying Disney Plus. It is one of those that it's just like Netflix, I think, right now. I don't know if I'd want to do without it. I can get rid of Hulu. In fact, I did get rid of Hulu because I just didn't watch it. I recently just got rid of YouTube TV because it was just an expense I didn't want to pay for. But Disney Plus.
It almost feels like back in the cable days, it's like, you want HBO, Cinemax, all the other ones. And we're kind of in this new era of streaming. That's what you're looking for. And everybody's clamoring for your money and for your time, whether it's CBS, Peacock, Netflix, YouTube, whatever, So, and I think I would consider Disney like up at the top now with everything they provide. I mean, they dropped Pixar's Soul movie on Christmas, which Sandy and I watched, and it was great. So, like you said, with the pandemic, with COVID and stuff, all these the media franchises, Disney and all them, they got to really figure out what their next strategy is for the next, maybe 6 to 18 months going on.
Yeah, and I think it's the next 6 to 18 months that's going to dictate just where we go from here. Because let's face it, the movie theaters are, especially after this year, they're I don't know if they're coming back.
They were kind of on life support, in my opinion, before COVID, and once COVID hit last year, it's almost like putting the nails in the coffin or something.
Yeah.
So, but let's swing them back around and talk about Wonder Woman 1984.
Well, before we talk about Wonder Woman 1984, let's talk about what makes it worthy of covering here on SequelCentric. Nate, is it just me, or has DC really been trying to get a piece of that Marvel pie here in the last couple of years?
Yeah, Marvel came up with a pretty good formula, and Kevin Feige just perfected it. So, Warner Brothers was trying to do the same thing, with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, the first Wonder Woman's in that whole DCEU, but it wasn't catching on. It was kind of more misses than hits, and I think they decided just to forget it. And they released Joker, which is not attached to that. The interesting about Wonder Woman 1984 is it's connected to the first one, which is connected to this DCEU, but it's also its own entity, right?
Yes.
So, and with the new Batman movie that's coming up with Robert Pattinson, is that it?
Sounds about right.
So yeah, so the next couple of DC movies, I think they're just gonna make movies, right? And they're not gonna connect.
Well, my thing is they should have been doing that before they came out with Suicide Squad and the what's the Avengers equivalent?
Justice League. Yeah.
They threw so much into those two movies that it made it damn near impossible to sit down and watch as something more than a disconjointed nightmare.
That's a fair point.
It was way too much. Too much was cut. It should have been an origin, joint force. Origin, joint force. We had no backstories.
DC Warner Brothers should have just used the exact same playbook that Feige and Marvel Studios and Disney came up with, right?
Yes, exactly. But instead, they shoved way too much into it and made it so disjointed.
I'm okay if you're just going to make one movie, like back in the day with when Richard Donner did Superman 1 and 2. He was filming them back to back. And then, Michael Keaton's Batman in 89. Just if you want to do that,
classic.
Like the Joker movie, that was really successful and had no ties to anything.
No,
and I think that's the way they should go.
I think they should have put Joker out way before Suicide Squad. Regardless of who was playing the Joker, it needed to be told. It was a story that we needed to know well before seeing Suicide Squad, because we had no reflection as to why he was such a nutball.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with the comics, it states there's a multiverse. So, just do whatever you want. They don't have to connect. Don't do Marvel. Do DC, right? Make a good movie with a good story, and the people will come. They'll either come to the theaters, they'll subscribe to your stream, whatever. A lot of those movies are good. Some are not as good, but overall, they got you hooked.
And I think they are slowly learning that. From the first Wonder Woman, and then, of course, Aquaman, and now with the Wonder Woman 1984 that we're talking about today, it's just, I really feel they're starting to learn, hey, do the single-off movies, do the sequels. I mean, they didn't start with Avengers. They started with Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
Follow suit. If you put out good standalone movies or even standalone franchises that all later come together, once we all have fallen in love with these characters, then do Justice League, then do Suicide Squad. But you already screwed the pooch there, unfortunately, DCEU. Spinning back around, I really feel that Wonder Woman is one of those. They learned how to make a good movie. Not tied to anything until the sequel. And that's what we're talking about today. If we're going to talk about the sequel, we've got to start somewhere. Nate, why don't you tell us a little bit about it to 2017?
Well, it was directed by Patty Jenkins. It was an origin story, how Steve Trevor's crashed on the island. He was kind of telling her about what's going on in the outside world. She goes out, she gets involved in the Great War, also known as World War I, saves the day, falls in love, all the usual good stuff.
And in this movie, we see that Diana must contend with a work colleague and businessman whose desire for extreme wealth sends the world down a path of destruction after an ancient artifact that grants wishes goes missing. Patty Jenkins did return to direct as well as write. She gets writing credits as well as Jeff Johns and David Callahan. So now that we've given you the plot of the movie, let's talk about the pros and cons.
Well, in my book, Duff, I think this movie, for me personally, has almost the same amount, an equal amount of pros and cons. One, for me, Patty Jenkins came back as director. I always like it when there's a sequel movie and the director comes back, like in The Hangover or
It's almost a necessity. You find it really, really difficult to make a really good franchise that has so many different directors. Case in point, it was really disjointed there with the Fast and Furious franchise there for a little bit until Justin Lin came back in.
Well, like Gunn did both Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and because he knows the characters and everything, both movies are great. So
Yeah.
I was happy to see Patty Jenkins come back, and she's even going to be directing the new Star Wars Rogue Squadron movie coming up in 2023, I think. So I'm excited about that.
She's also doing something else with Gal. She's doing Cleopatra.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's in development at Paramount.
didn't Liz Taylor? Didn't she play Cleopatra in an old movie?
Yeah. So this
Okay.
is a reboot, I guess.
Unless there's someone like you or me that knows that sort of stuff, most people will probably think it's a new movie.
Well, of course, but we're a little bit older than them.
I know. So what's a pro for you there, Duff?
Well, I actually have to agree with your pro, but I'm always one for efficiency, so it's always going to be a pro in my book when you don't have to watch the first movie. Now, granted, as we are media junkies, it really makes sense that we would, of course, want to. But if you're in a time crunch, just watch the second one. And because they started off the movie with the childhood recap, they made it possible for you to just go off on the second one and, go back and watch the first one later. It's not a necessity to see them in order. So that's a definite pro for me.
Yeah, I would agree too.
Nate, give us
I
another
can give
pro.
you two quick ones. It's a great follow-up to the first one, and the special effects and the cinematography were just amazing. It was my wife and I, we watched this because I had been hearing a few things. A few friends of mine wanted to know what my opinion was. I had to tell them, well, I haven't seen it yet, but I'll get around to it. It was a nice sit back and relax, enjoyable movie. It was a great day just to kill time.
Especially with it being digital release. Thank you, HBO.
Yeah, I'll throw that as another pro.
Well, we already kind of talked about that.
Yeah, I know, but
Now, here's another quick pro from me. I really loved seeing Pedro Pascal come into the DCEU. We all know him from The Mandalorian.
Stop touching things.
But seeing him as some con man in the DCEU, almost a villain. Well, I guess you could call him a villain, yeah.
He only wants all the oil in the world.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Pretty much villain.
For a low monthly fee, you can own a piece of the most lucrative industry in the world. And every time we strike gold, you strike gold.
Yeah, it was so interesting. I wasn't aware of Pedro Pascal until The Mandalorian popped up in 2019. So it was kind of weird just to see his face the whole time because,
Yeah.
normally if he's in the armor, he's got a helmet covering his face.
I kept on waiting for him to say, "Come here, little one."
This is the way.
I have spoken.
Oh my God, Nick Nolte.
Yeah, killing it with the role, man, killing it.
Ready to lay low and stretch your legs for a couple of months, you little womp rat?
And these next couple of ones will finish up the pros for me, so I'll just group them all up into one. I love how empathetic Diana is.
Hi, thank you. Diana Prince, Cultural Anthropology and Archaeology.
Barbara, Minerva, Geology, Gemology, Lithology, and part-time cryptozoologist.
Case in point, seeing Barbara's situation and inviting her to dinner.
Yeah.
Totally a move that I would do, and I'm often known for being too empathetic, and well, people call me a pussy.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm emotional. I can't help it. And B, I think the way they reintroduced Chris Pine into the storyline was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I when I saw that Chris was coming back to reprise his role, I really thought, all right,
How are they going to do this?
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one.
That's what when I found out he was going to be in the second movie when they started filming and they were posting stuff on social media, I'm like, how in the hell are they going to bring back a dead guy?
Yeah. And the last two, they're for the looks, and that'll actually bring us into our first con from my take. But as far as looks go, two definite pros. Holy hell, Gal looks amazing in gold.
Oh yeah, she almost looked like Hawkwoman in that army at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it was pretty sick, that getup. And speaking of the getup, that leads us to the post-credit scene.
You have to let me thank you, miss.
Asteria.
Asteria. Wow. That's a beautiful name.
It's from my culture.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Asteria. The next movie is going to be killer.
No, I didn't even know. I read somewhere that when they were sending the movie out for people to watch, they actually kept that part out because they didn't want anybody to know that Linda Carter, aka Wonder Woman from 1978
yeah, the OG
80.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Linda Carter is the OG
She's the
Wonder
original.
Woman. Live action. So for them to figure out a way to put her in, I don't want to say organically, but so naturally, for me, it was a huge bonus.
Yes. And Linda Carter, huge boner.
Well, the old Wonder Woman shows are on streaming, DVD on Amazon or whatever. I would tell anybody, just check it out. For me, I haven't gone back to watch it because I'm afraid it may not hold up like what's in my head, but
It's kind of like MacGyver. Going back to rewatch the original MacGyver. Oh, so bad.
I think Disney did this movie called Sky High where, superheroes have kids and the kids go to the school up in the clouds. The principal was Linda Carter, and she made some sort of reference like,
I can't do anything more to help you. I'm not Wonder Woman, you know.
Yeah. Much like my usual MO, I watched the movie with my wife. And when both of us saw Asteria walking, you saw just her back. And we were both like, nuh-uh, nuh-uh. Because we knew it was Linda Carter. And sure as shit, she turned around and oh man, that's one of the things I really think they've taken from the MCU.
Yeah.
Their post-credit outros are really on point. This one especially.
For me, it was a home run.
So Nate, all out of pros, it's time for some cons.
Gotcha. For me, this really felt like a director's cut than a theatrical cut because it was 2.5 hours long.
Yes, it was just so much time, especially when you've got to watch it twice.
Not me.
Oh, you only did the one?
I watched it once. This is one of my other cons, not to jump ahead on you. I'm halfway through watching Wonder Woman 1984, and I'm thinking to myself, this movie has been made 37 years ago. And that movie is called Superman 3.
Yeah, the similarities were there.
Oh, you picked up on that too?
A little bit. I mean, Superman 3 was my least favorite of the original Superman movies.
So that's why I didn't watch Wonder Woman 84 a second time. I went and watched Superman 3 because I just wanted to make sure I was all the beats and everything I was thinking of, was I correct? And yeah, I was correct. Major bad guy wants all the oil in the world. There's a nice person that does bad things for the other. It was just like, there's a robbery in the beginning of the movie. Superhero saves a kid. It was just like, what?
Yeah, it was a little, the similarities were a little too much there.
There was a little bit of a difference because, Richard Pryor was in.
Well, they're just floating around out there. The computer's nowhere. How many sugars? 1.5.
Yeah.
But still, it was, when I was watching 84, it was I wouldn't say it was scary, but it was weird going, am I just imagining this? You know, and Richard Lester, which got credit for Superman 2 after they knocked Donner off, came back and directed Superman 3. So like Jenkins, she directed the sequel. There's so many similarities.
Yeah, I think you've got a really good point there, dude. All right, I've got quite a few. I have a little bit of an issue with the script in a couple of parts. I have to disagree with the assessment that Diana cheated in the decathlon event at the beginning of the movie. During the event, she got taken off her horse. Because she wasn't paying attention. She was resourceful and found a way to still A, get back on the horse, and B, get to the end first.
I agree. I think she was being very resourceful, considering she was competing with women like 2 times her age.
You took the short path. You cheated, Diana. That is the truth. That is the only truth, and truth is all there is.
Yes. So, yes, she missed a checkpoint. Does that mean cheating? No.
Well, that's it, right? I guess because she didn't do the one checkpoint, she was disqualified.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that one.
And another issue that I've got with the script is regarding Kristen Wiig. It would have been much more impressive if they would have taken a regular nobody and then turned them into a fox, compared to making Kristen Wiig look dumpy.
Hey, Jake. Jake, hi. Can you...
Anyway,
Hi. I know, walk much?
Well, they've done that before. Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
They always do that.
Michelle Pfeiffer in Catwoman and Batman Returns. So they've done this before.
Well, I think it's time they stop. Not saying that Kristen Wiig wasn't an amazing actor in this entry, but I think it's time for them to stop making hot chicks look dumpy.
Oh, are they kidding? Right?
So lame.
Dorky.
Lame.
Yeah,
It's
let's
like
go.
the lamest lames.
Yeah, well, my one last con that I have is it kind of dragged in a few places, which kind of goes with my first con that it felt like a director's cut.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's one of the great things about watching it on TV or have it either streaming or physical media. You can pause it, do something, come back to it. Overall, I enjoyed it, but those are my only 3 cons.
Yeah. Well, hold tight there, Skippy, because I've got a couple more for you.
Excellent. Strap it in.
One of the other issues I've got with the script is the whole ancient relic that grants wishes. Didn't I see that on an episode of Supernatural?
How exactly did your teddy become real?
I wished for it.
You wished for it?
At the wishing well.
why am I here?
For tea parties!
Tea parties? Is that all there is?
Supernatural, Aladdin. I mean, just, you know, it's a tried and true formula.
It works.
I mean,
not so much a con, but it's definitely not a pro.
I have no words to say.
During the last act of the movie, Maxwell Lord decided to just say, hey, you can do this, you can do that, and I'm going to take this. No one ever wished for that stuff, so that shouldn't have been possible.
Well, you know, I think it, you know, when you got to the end of the movie, especially when he was basically streaming and everybody was making a wish, I thought that kind of defeated the purpose of him being there. But yeah, it was a little inconsistent in the writing or whatever. I looked over it. For me, movies are a way to escape and enjoy something else for a while. You don't have to deal with what's going on Capitol Hill or whatever.
Yeah. Let's talk about the ASP program. Oh, man. Okay.
I did like how they mentioned the Star Wars project.
Yeah, the Star Wars project, that mention was pretty interesting to hear. All right, so let's take a step back and talk about the Army's atmospheric scatter program.
What's this? Global Broadcast Satellite. Top secret program that enables us to override any broadcast system in the world in case we need direct contact with the people of an enemy state.
Got a lot of issues with it. See, all right. First one, the Telstar satellite was launched in 1962. So there were TV satellites out there in orbit. But consumer satellite TV wasn't anywhere near ready for prime time in 1984. Yes, local and cable TV networks did utilize satellite technology back in the 80s, but it was for syndicated content. Most of the content back then was still either, played from a recording system at the station, or it was recorded live.
They might have been playing a little loose with that info. Like, once again, with movies, if it's close enough and it works, great. But unless you got someone like you or me, they're going to get down to the nitty gritty and really pick at did this really happen? Could this have happened at this point in time in history? The majority of the people that are going to watch this, they're going to just roll with it. And that makes sense.
Yeah, but
especially the millennials.
But see, that's not who I am. So
yes, as you've stated in a previous episode, accuracy.
So let me digress. So we also saw in the movie that the broadcast from Lord was also being shown on office workers' computers.
Yeah, that made my eye twitch a little bit.
That made my entire body twitch, and let me explain why. In 1984, internet was only connecting about 1,000 different universities and or corporate labs at the time. So let's just say people didn't have internet in offices like that, and they couldn't push a data signal through it at the time. There was no throughput at all that would have made that a viable option. Not only that, but the ASP only discussed satellite broadcast streams. Nothing about data packet streams were ever mentioned. And that wouldn't have been possible anyway, because the Ka band in satellite systems weren't opened up until 1993. So data communications didn't start really until then.
Well, I might have an answer when you were going off on your tiny rant.
Go for it.
In the movie, in the beginning, anytime someone made a wish with Max, he took something from them, right? So my guess is towards the end, when everybody's making a wish and some other stuff, maybe he was using his powers or whatever to open up and get onto all like computer screens, TVs, and whatnot.
Okay. Well,
it's not a perfect answer, but it's an answer.
No, especially since that monitor that Alistair was pleading into only had the potential for 16 colors.
Yeah.
Max. And
like I said, that's the only, do I dare say, logical answer. But yeah, if you try to put a little bit more reality into this movie, yeah, everything you stated is absolutely true, and it would not have worked. But once again, movies are art. It's a form of escapism, and sometimes you just got to go with the flow.
Right said. So I guess I shouldn't then complain about the fact that jumbotrons weren't invented until 1985.
No, I'll let you have that one.
Okay. So we just spent the better part of, 15, 20 minutes giving it a bunch of crap. Does that change the fact for you? Is this a movie worth adding to your roster? What say you, Nate?
For me, the movie sequels. It's got everything the first one has, a little bit more, for better or for worse. Need I say more?
It definitely sequels for all the reasons you said and more. It really holds through as a valuable add-on to the franchise. And for that, I am going to give it a solid watch, because it was a really decent lineup.
I agree. I would put it under the watch it category as well. Unless you're a die-hard DC person, you're probably going to buy it, but I would tell anybody off the street, watch it.
Well, that's our verdict. You heard it from us. Give it a watch. It's in our collection, but that's because we're media junkies.
Got any fun tidbits or anything before we sign out there?
I do, actually. At the end of the movie, the snowball fight scene, Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins' family actually made some cameos there. The eldest daughter of Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins' son were the kids throwing the snowballs, and the family on the carousel was Gal's younger daughter and husband.
Nice.
What about you, Nate? Any fun tidbits?
Yeah. The young actress that played young Diana, Lily Espel, performed all the required physical stunts at the age of 12, and she actually was doing them better than her own stunt doubles, which that's kind of amazing for a 12-year-old to do.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, the intro alone, just watching that was just, when I watched it was mind-blowing. I was wondering how much of that she did, and now reading this fun fact makes it even more impressive in my book.
Yeah, I think they picked a really good choice for casting on that role. Anything else, or are we going to get out of here?
I think we've said enough on this episode. I think we should get on out of here.
All right, well, I'll just listen to what that guy said. Nate said get out of here, so we're going to get out of here. If you guys want to give us ideas for future episodes, leave a comment down below.
Don't forget Instagram and Facebook, where I post stuff, and we want to hear from you.
Yes, because we're desperate for your approval.
I was going to say we're a little podcast, and we want to grow just a little bit bigger this year.
Yes, we'd like you to share us so we can do just that.
Share with everybody, friends, family members, co-workers.
Even people you don't like.
We'll take anybody.
Yes,
That's how desperate we are.
Speaking of desperate, be sure to check out our Patreon page if you want to support us in our mission to put out great content, if you feel that's what we are doing.
Starts at $1.
Yeah,
and you get all
starts at
extra
$1.
stuff like bloopers and stuff.
Yeah, so check it out, patreon.com/SequelCentric. I'm Duff.
I'm Nathan.
And until next time, ask yourself this question.
Does it sequel?
Thanks for watching SequelCentric. Smack one of them thumbs if you made it through the episode. Click here to subscribe and ring our bell for notifications, and click here to watch another one. You know you want to.